Welcome back to Vaguely Adults. We got two vaguely looking adults talking about vaguely adult things this week. I'm one of your hosts, Sarana, and
Shirley, hello.
And this week we're gonna dive into that New York Times 36 questions that leads to love. Because we're friends and platonic lovers, basically.
Yes, Sarana's my platonic soulmate.
Sorry.
Oh,
I cut you off.
You're good. I just said you're my soulmate. That's all. Casual things,
you.
Casual one Thursday things.
I'm not sure when this is going up, if it's going up this week or next week, so... Cool. I actually saw this in two places. I saw this one on Iz and Johnny Harris's YouTube channel where they were doing a Q&A about their love and children and leaving Mormonism and all that stuff. Real light topics. Ooh. And then yesterday, when I was watching the You Can Sit With Us Guys tripod, that's a sentence, they also brought it up. So I was like, hey, imitation is the best form of flattery or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to go through the questions, and we're going to do it every 3 questions instead of going down the list and doing 1, 2, 3. Because that's...
Big brain.
Yeah.
Big brain
You'll get
thinking.
the answers to the other questions in another video. And that's how we stretch content. So, question 3. Before making a phone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say and why?
Oh, that's easy. Yes. And, I mean, really, it depends on who I'm calling. If I'm calling to, order food, I repeat it to myself, 8 times to make sure I have everything. Alright, Kaylin wanted, BLT with Swiss cheese. Kaylin's a vegan, so she would never order that. But, besides the point, Mom wanted lasagna with blah, blah, blah. Can I get da-da-da-da-da? But if I'm, calling a friend or something, I'm not gonna rehearse what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah, same. I pretty much rehearse any serious topic that I'm gonna have, or if I'm ordering takeout, very, very serious things only. But if I'm not rehearsing exactly what I'm gonna say, it's more of okay, I have to touch this, this, and this. And that's, what I need to get done. Basically just a rough outline. But because I have anxiety, I must rehearse what I say.
Mood. Yes.
Question 6. If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want?
That's just a dumb question. The body of a 30-year-old.
Okay.
I'm basically 30 now. Right? So just me at 90 years old, I think would be a hoot and a half. Because I feel like as you get older, right, you care less about what people think. So can you imagine me with no anxiety and no self-consciousness? Undefeated. Watch your mans, watch your wives, watch everyone, because I'm coming for you.
I agree, but also, I don't know what late stages of life holds for me. I don't know if that's dementia, Alzheimer's, or stuff like that.
Oh, that's fair.
That's just looking at, elder family members and stuff like that. Maybe it's in my future, maybe it's not. Maybe I become super sharp at the age of 90 and, yes, I'll choose the body of a 30-year-old. But I think if I'm able to retain all that I am with life lessons at the age of 90 and then go back to the sharpness and quickness of a 30-year-old mind, I think I'll choose the mind.
But also I think it's fascinating that I did not think that deep into it. You really went, well, if I think about my family history, and I was just I'm gonna be sharp as a tack at 90.
I mean, I did say that I've heard these questions a few times, so I've had a little more,
okay, fair,
feedback from people answering these questions, and then also just juggling with the ideas that they've given. So
yeah. I mean that's a fair thought, but I think I would stick to my answer. There's mix in my family, but I don't know. I feel like I'd take my chances and live out my best Twilight life at 90 years old.
Yeah, I honestly think it depends on the day. Ideally, I would love to keep the body, but I don't know. Because it's the last 60 years of your life. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's either you're 90 and you have
That's fair.
Yeah, too deep. Anyway, question 9.
Fair.
For what in your life do you feel most grateful?
My sister? Is that? I feel like it's a valid answer. I think I'm most grateful for my sister. We grew up in the same household, very different styles of parenting, but we have this, it's weird, we have the same issues, but they're very different. So we have the same issues, but we cope with them differently on like very opposite sides. So like the daddy issues are real, but the way we cope with it is different. The mommy issues are real, but the way we cope with it are different. And honestly, like I feel like this girl has kept me grounded in life. She's 5 years younger than me, 5 years and some change. And so she keeps me hip and young, right? She teaches me the lingo. I mean, soon she will also be old, so she won't know the lingo, but we have our little cousin for that. So, you know, that's another bridge to cross later on. And so she keeps me up to date on like trends and like weird things that I don't know, but also she's my biggest cheerleader and I'm her biggest cheerleader. And we always pull each other out of our like dark thoughts. And it's funny because like she'll come into my room with a problem and suddenly I'm unloading my problem and suddenly we're both crying at 2 a.m. on a Thursday night and then we're making jokes and laughing and we talk it out. Yeah, she's my child. Like I literally look at my sister like my child. So that's what I'm most grateful for in life.
Mine's more broader. I'm just very grateful for the people who are most close to me. So you, for example, you know, my cousins, people that just kind of get it when you talk to them. My health. My health. And being like, able-bodied. Like, that's a privilege.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I mean, I'm also very thankful for Sebastian Stan's face and Tom Holland's biceps. But, you know, those are more shallow things to be grateful for.
Yeah, very grateful for Dreamcatcher, Brie Larson, you know, Emma Stone, things like that. Which I still have to watch Cruella. I have not.
I'm
but
so
I've heard
excited.
Good things.
I might honestly just buy it on Disney Premiere or whatever.
I have a link. I'll give you that later.
Okay.
Question 12. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would that be?
I'll let you go first because I feel like I've answered first for everything else.
Quality? Confidence. It's something like I'm actively working on. I'm doing my daily affirmations. You're okay. You're doing all right. You're going to get to where you want to go, etc., etc. But confidence is really difficult for me, which is ironic because look at what we're doing. Anyway, ability, I would say, like to be able to pick up or learn languages faster or to process languages better. I would love to be fluent in Korean and be better at my Spanish, and like I'm gonna learn Italian just because of that band that won Eurovision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree. Not ability. Confidence would be like the quality that I would love the most. You know, if I woke up 2 or 3 inches taller, that'd be okay too. But aside from that, see, like my mind for when you said ability, like you went with something realistic. In my head, I was like, I mean, yeah, I'd love to shapeshift, I guess. Like that's an ability I'd love to wake up with one day. But if we're talking realistically, I guess I wish I could do more with my hands. Like I'm a klutz. Like, I'm very clumsy, and I'm very, very bad at doing stuff with my hands. Like I'm not very handy.
Agile, I guess, is another...
Yeah. Like, I'm not good at... you know what? No, I take that back. I take that back. I can learn that. I can practice that. I wish I was more creative. I feel like I'm not. And I think that's because my mom is actually very, very creative. Like, this woman can come up with random ideas from the top of her head. Like, when I was in school and we were doing like school projects, like she could envision this thing and make it happen. But I'm always good at executing, but not at envisioning things most times. Like I can't picture something because I'm not a visual thinker. Like I've learned apparently that people can think in pictures, which is bizarre to me because whenever someone tells me like imagine something or visualize something, really I'm just saying words in my head. Like I can't actually see it. Whereas my mom is the opposite. And so I always kind of wish that I was more like her in that sense, that I could like visualize things. So I wish I had that ability. My sister's the same way as me. She can't visualize things, but she's an artiste. Like she could copy any painting, any drawing, any sculpture. She could do it if she sees it, but she can't come up with things in her mind. So she's like a copy artist more. So, but yeah, that's something I wish I had.
Similarly, sometimes I can't visualize, but sometimes I can also listen to a song and see a whole music video in my head, and I have trouble communicating that. Like, I would love... My career dream is to become a director, and that's pretty much well known. I'm doing very little to get to that dream, but I have planned out music videos and stuff in my head, but I lack the skills of storyboarding, which is something I can work on.
Yeah.
Right? But that part of communicating what's in here, because I'm a very vivid dreamer as well. I have insane dreams. They're extremely detailed and things like that. which is what kind of makes me think that I'll be okay as a director, because, you know, it's the meaning in the little things, etc., etc. But communicating what's in here to make it a visual or make it into something tangible, I think is also an ability I would really appreciate. Anyways, next question. Another super light one, of course. Number 15. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life thus far? You know, like, we're only in their mid-20s, so.
Oh, boy. I mean, I have 3 I can think of off the top of my head that I feel, not that are completely even, but, like, they're the first 3 things that came to my head. One is graduating college. I was the first in my direct family to graduate college. My parents are immigrants, and so they didn't even finish high school. And so for me to be able to finish college was a big deal. But my grandmother rather, she did finish college when she was young, but she didn't do anything with it. Like, she went to college and then she got married. And she went to college in Ecuador, but no one else in the family had graduated right after high school. And so I went into college right after high school, graduated. So that was something I was really proud of, and my family was really proud of. It was a lot of pressure also. And then, you know, like, helping to raise my sister is another. Like, I'm really proud of how far she's come. And, you know, not to toot my own horn, but like I said, she is like my child. You know better than anyone how I see my sister and, like, the things I do for her. And so she just graduated. She just got her associate's degree. And so I'm super, super proud of her. And, like, don't tell her, but, like, tomorrow I'm, like, decorating the living room with, like, congrats grad all over. And so that's going to be exciting. And it's, like, she got her associates instead of her bachelor's first, and so she was kind of down on herself about that. But now she's going in to get her bachelor's, not this year, but the year after, 'cause she's going to try to work for a year and, like, take some, like, mental break, which I'm here for. You know, I told her, I was like, honestly, like, in 2 years you could have your bachelor's. It will have taken you the same amount of time to get your associates and your bachelor's than it took me to get my bachelor's, like, just 1 degree. And so, you know, like, that's the second thing. And then, like, finally it's this podcast, honestly. Like, this is the first time that we've started it, and it was just, like, the 3rd or 4th try, and, like, actually, like, kept going with it. And I'm not a finisher. I start things and I never finish them. Take that as you will. But I always start new things, and seldom do I ever finish them. Like, I always stop midway, I get discouraged, or I get bored more often than not, and just stop. And this is the first time, you know, and, like, it's kudos to you for making me continue to, being able to continue to push me to do it. And yeah, I'm really proud of this.
Yeah, mine was pretty similar. I think the big one is still being alive and being here.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
A trigger warning, I guess, but, like, just, I never really thought I'd make it this far. And for that, I'm really grateful because of the people that I met in college and the people that I decided to keep around, and people like you. And, you know, life's a really difficult thing to maneuver, and there's no handbook to it. And it's, you only got this, right? What you have is what you have. And it's easy to say that you have to make the best of what you've got. But sometimes there are people in more unfortunate situations. So I'm very grateful to be where I am. And I'm grateful that I have worked to a point where I'm driven and motivated to continue and to aim for bigger things and to really try to put myself out there, even if it makes me uncomfortable, because it's going to be working towards my idea of success, which we'll get into in another time, you know.
Absolutely.
But, and the fact that I was the youngest person to speak on a panel at my advertising agency when I worked there. So that was also, and I almost cried. So it was overwhelming. I was on a panel with one of the CCO, the Chief Creative Officer. So me as an intern, COO of the entire company. You know, just little bit of anxiety, you know?
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, next question. Question 18. What is your most terrible memory?
Ooh. So, okay, it has to be an adult memory because I have no memories as a child.
Big same.
I don't know, actually. I'm sure I have them.
Yeah, no, they're there, but they're not there. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Like, one comes to mind specifically, but it's not one that I want to share because it's not something I want public. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the not the specific memory, but another memory. You know, I almost lost my thumb. I know I mentioned that, like, often, but, like, as a kid, I almost lost my thumb, and I think that has to be one of the worst memories, but not really, because I don't actually remember what happened. I just remember being in pain when they were putting the anesthetic in, like, because it was wild. So when it happened, I basically slammed my nerve. The whole thing was, like, it was grotesque. It was horrible. Like, it was falling off, and I couldn't feel anything. Like, I guess I was pumped with adrenaline or whatever. Like, I didn't actually feel feel anything, so I'm just holding on to it like this. Like, grandma, look what happened. My grandma's freaking out, doesn't speak English. Freaking out, takes me in a cab, she was babysitting me, my 2 cousins. One was a newborn, and my sister. And so freaks out, goes to the neighbor downstairs because she knows her, drops off my sister and my 2 cousins, takes me to the hospital. Can't reach my mom, can't reach my dad, reaches my other grandma. So my other grandma also comes to the hospital. Eventually my dad gets to the hospital, and eventually my mom gets to the hospital. And like, I couldn't feel anything. I like genuinely did not understand what was happening. Like, nothing, I was not comprehending how bad it was. And then my mom and my dad went in with me to the room. Like, this part I do remember. And the doctor was like, well, we have to put like an anesthetic or some antibiotic or something in, like, and it was in 5 spots that they put it, right? It was probably like an anesthetic, like a local anesthetic that they were injecting into me. And they put the first one in, and it felt like fire inside my veins. Like, I felt like I was on fire, and I started screaming. I was like, 9 or 10 years old, and my mom was so overwhelmed that she had to walk out because she couldn't watch me scream, and my dad stayed with me. And then they put 4 more of those in until I couldn't feel anything, and then I had to go through like rehab to get movement back in my thumb. And the doctor was like, yeah, like if it had been a little bit more, I would have just lost it completely. So I was like really lucky. But basically they had me sitting down. Before the actual doctor came to see me, they had given me like Motrin, and we're like, all right, take a seat until the doctor can see you, like that. I remember my mom being like pissed, and she was like yelling at the nurses, and I was just sitting there like thumb in my hand, like with gauze, like doo 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 doo. But yeah, I think that's probably a bad memory.
I'm pretty sure I have a lot of them, but I would say the most recent is recently I got some blood work done, and then I got a message from the doctor that was like, come in immediately to speak of the results. And I was like... And then I went in, and it was the same information that I've already known for the past, like, 15 years of my life. So I just think doctors could word things better, or be like, hey,
100%.
You know, don't worry about it, but, like, we can discuss the next steps. Or something. It could have been handled better.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up with one last question. And let us know if you enjoy this, because we will go back and do the other questions. Question 21. What roles do love and affection play in your life?
Very important ones. I've said it once, probably once every podcast, and I will say it again. I am a very affectionate person. Sarana knows that. My friends know that. I'm like affectionate not only in my words, but I'm a very touchy person. Like hugs and hand holding and just like shoulder to shoulder. Like when I laugh, I like reach out to people. Like I'll laugh and like tap you on the shoulder or something like that. Like I'm a very physical, very affectionate person, and I don't shy away from telling people I love them. I say it to my coworkers once a day, the ones that I like, which is all of them. I say it to my friends all the time. I say it very often, actually. Like the words I love you leave my mouth a lot, which is why I never understood people who, like, you know, when you watch a show or a movie and they make such a huge deal of like, God, they said I love you for the first time, or this person hasn't said they love me yet, or they said they love me, it must mean forever. I never was able to understand that, because in my house, the words I love you never really carried that much weight because it was said so often. Like my mom and my dad did not grow up in a home where their parents were affectionate or their family was affectionate. So they were abundantly so with my sister and I, and we never leave a room without saying I love you to one another. Like if I'm leaving the house, like, all right, love you, like I'll be back in so and so time. Even doesn't matter how upset you are with each other, the biggest fight you could have had, it was always like drilled in me that you never know when it's going to be the last time that you see that person, and so you want the last thing that they know that you love them, because that's very important. And so because of that, I'm very open to saying I love you to people. I'm sure I've said it to friends that I haven't even known that long. I'm like, all right, love you, like have a good one. But yeah, so they play very important roles in my life. I love very easily, and I seldom hate people. I dislike people often, but it's rare that I'll be like, I really hate this person, like you must have really like effed up, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting that I'm literally the other side of that spectrum. Yeah. So you being like that and me being like this, it's just, what a pair. You know, it is a very important part to my life as well, but in very different ways. It's about, like, the little things for me. Like, the things that you can do today that'll make tomorrow easier. Or, like, it's the, hey, I saw this, I thought of you. Like, sending memes back and forth, that's my love language. One of them, at least. You know, just kind of the checking in, not just when someone's bad. Yeah. You know, it's a consistent, if you're in a friendship, any type of relationship, platonic, polygamous, etc., whatever. Just, having a good open communication, and I preach a lot of good things, but it's not that I implement all of them, which is something I'm also working on. So, learning as with everything in life. So, on that note, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let us know if you want us to answer more of these questions, if you enjoy this kind of the deep dive. I want to say it's different from other episodes, but I'm pretty sure we got deep in many other episodes. Also,
Absolutely.
what a milestone. This is our 20th episode. Honestly, didn't think we'd get this far. But here we are, and here's to at least 20 more this year, right?
Yes. Yes. 20 more this year.
As always, stay safe, stay hydrated, get vaccinated if you can, and we will see you guys next time.
Vaguely adult. Vaguely adult. Things are just vaguely adult.
Can we point to our shirts?
We didn't mention it at all.
I feel like I want you to play that clip where you're like, oh, I'm wearing a Tom and Jerry shirt, because you definitely were recording when you said that.
My coworker told me that this is the one that I look like in my shirt.
I'm wearing a Tom and Jerry shirt.
The sudden realization.